What is going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another Bring the Juice Colts podcast live stream. Guys, we're coming to you live on this beautiful Thursday night. We're debating on whether or not we wanted to do a video or a live stream for this. And, it just kind of felt like with all the news that's going on right now, felt like it would just be easier to go live and interact with you guys. So thank you all for tuning in with us on this Thursday night. Cody, a lot's been going on in the NFL over the last few days, and is definitely making for some very interesting possibilities for the Indianapolis Colts come free agency time.
No doubt. It feels like just about every day there are more players becoming available at some potential positions of need for the Colts, which is definitely exciting in itself there, Derek. And, I said it already in a video. I said it online. It's really like such a great opportunity for the Colts here to really address some of their biggest weaknesses on their roster. I mean, from specifically on defense, like specifically in the secondary, you talk about all these different guys that are now becoming available, some guys who have not yet become available that might very well. I know we did a look at, some of the corners. We posted that earlier today. But, Derek, here's the deal. Like, we didn't even throw in a guy. I totally forgot to talk about. Asante Samuel Jr. was another name that we didn't even talk about. And Jair Alexander could be very well released here very soon. So those are just a couple more names that we haven't even considered as well.
I would feel like for Asante, I feel like the name would just keep him in Los Angeles. Maybe. I mean, obviously, if the price is right, it works for everyone. But yeah, I feel like that would be one of the few pieces that the Chargers would try to keep. But you never know. We do have a bunch of people coming in right now, guys. Please be sure to like the stream wherever you're watching. It helps the algorithm. It helps to get out to more people. Please be sure to comment in the comment section. Tell us what you guys are feeling about free agency. And please be sure to subscribe. Guys, we are 26 subscribers away from 20,000 on this great YouTube platform. So Cody, we're both hitting the same thing here. Michigan Wolverines, Derek, Cody, gentlemen, what's up? How's it going, man? How's it going?
Sorry, I didn't even know I was doing that. I was on a different screen for a second. I don't know what happened. Anyway.
What's going on, Quentin? How you doing, man? Good to see you.
Yeah.
Quentin, in all honesty, dude, you look very similar to one of my old neighbors. I used to have a neighbor that was a few years younger than myself, and you and him look eerily similar. Immediately, cool. I thought for a moment you might have been him, but no, I know his name wasn't Quentin. So very weird, but nevertheless, we're here.
Derek, the Colts have made a move officially. They have released Raekwon Davis. Sorry.
You got me excited there for a second. I thought you were meaning something else.
No, not yet. Not yet. No, in terms of their own guys, they've released Raekwon Davis, saves almost about $7 million in cap space. And the Colts were already, at like 34 or so. So so they're near 40 now, maybe a little bit over 40 now, maybe 41 or so. What's up, everybody? So, Derek, that's led a lot of people to ask the question, are the Colts doing this for any reason? And, Derek, I'll say this. Chris Ballard has done this before, where we ask that question and nothing happens. I'll just say that right away because it's Chris Ballard, and we know how he operates, and we've seen a lot of the crap the last 8-9 years now. So I'm just going to say I'm not going to look too far into it right now when it comes to that. I know some people have pointed that out, but I just wanted to say that. But with that being said, Derek, there was some interesting news that came out today, huh? Trey
Hendrickson. And look, I will say this. I saw your tweet. I think you retweeted it. Somebody was talking about how the last time that the Colts got a DC went out and got a pass rusher that guy had familiarity with.
Yes.
Okay, so It makes all the sense in the world. Now, here's the thing. I'm sure most of you have probably already heard by now that Trey Hendrickson is likely to be traded out of Cincinnati.
Yep.
So here's the thing. So I'm going to pull this up because you wanted,
looking for?
You wanted to react to it.
And I have the video.
I was going to say, I have it here too.
Okay.
Let me just present and share my screen.
Yeah.
So this is Ian Rappaport talking about
a little over an hour ago or so from when he posted this.
Yeah, let me get this.
So pretty fresh here.
Make sure that my sound is good because Lord knows that it doesn't go straight to there. Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Here we go. So we'll play this real quick, and this is Ian Rappaport talking about Trey Hendrickson this evening.
That is exactly what I believe, that it is headed for a split. And Trey Hendrickson was in the Bengals office today talking to Bengals brass, give him permission to seek a trade, and I do expect him to get moved. There's going to be significant interest. There has already been significant interest. I would, of course, keep an eye on basically all the teams who would need one of the best pass rushers in the NFL, which is basically all of them. But among the teams, the Indianapolis Colts, they have Lou Anarumo, his former defensive coordinator, last year with the Cincinnati Bengals, fired, went to the Colts. They need an edge. This one makes a lot of sense. There's going to be plenty of other teams as well. But you're right. I mean, to me, this is the Bengals saying, love Trey Hendrickson, great player. His value is greater in a trade as opposed to Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, where they've made some level of progress trying to get them new deals. Their value is on the team. Hendrickson's value is not. Put it all together, and that'll be the Bengals who get on the field.
Yeah. So a couple things there, Derek. First off, we've talked all about these positions of need, right, for the Colts. We've mentioned, DB, obviously. We've mentioned tight end. We've mentioned linebacker. But did you notice Ian Rappaport said edge is still a need for this team? He knows he knows what's going on. He knows what the Colts want, which is fascinating to me because
it makes all the sense in the world.
Oh, yeah. We've said, Derek, like that could be a sneaky need for the Colts. Like, we're not talking about it and highlighting it as a top need, but it very easily could be a very, very sneaky need. And that's why we even said when we talked about like the trade up, trade down, stay put scenario in the draft, I'm like, dude, don't be shocked if Chris Ballard went that route again, because he loves his pass rushers. He loves edge guys. And frankly, Derek, he hasn't found a number one edge guy in his time with the Colts. I will say this for Chris Ballard, Derek. Pretty much every time he has gone out and acquired a defensive end in free agency or trade, it's usually worked out for the Colts. Like usually they get good production.
It's not even just defense. It's not even just defensive end. It's like the majority of the time defensively, when he goes out and makes those kinds of moves defensively, they usually have worked out, at least in some way, shape, or form. But I mean, this is the type of move that can help save your job because it's showing that you're willing to go above and beyond to get one of the premier best pass rushers in the game right now on this team because you have a connection with him because Lou Anarumo and Trey Hendrickson, they're like this. So it makes all the sense in the world. And shout out to Rayshawn for the $2 super chat. Colts send a third and Quiddy for Hendrickson ASAP. Hey, I'd be down for that. Please do. Get rid of Quiddy, cut Samson Ebukam, and save all that money.
Yeah, I think you have to do one or the other, Derek, if you're going to acquire Trey Hendrickson. You got to either trade Quiddy or cut Samson Ebukam. Because honestly, Derek, like I don't know if they're going to do that because of how Ballard has spoken about Ebukam. But did you notice he didn't mention Quiddy Pay at all? Like when talking about the different players, he didn't mention him. So that's just interesting to me in itself. And this is obviously now the third defensive coordinator that Quiddy Pay is going to be potentially playing under. So is he the type of player that Lou Anarumo wants, right? And you already don't know what's going to happen with Dio.
You know for a fact that Trey Hendrickson is the type of player that Lou Anarumo wants. If there's one player from that defense that Lou Anarumo wants, it's him. Easy.
Yeah,
and somebody's saying everybody's talking about injuries in there, but I will say this. So for people that are, because we posted this on our Reacts channel, guys. If you want to get more of our thoughts on it from our immediate thoughts, you can go check that out. But we mentioned this in the video. For Trey Hendrickson, everyone's going to look at it and say, what's it going to cost to get him over to Indianapolis?
Yeah.
Right. And ultimately, it's just going to mainly come down to what is a team willing to give up to get him mainly. And here's the thing. The Bengals don't have leverage in this situation. Okay, guys, they've already made it a point that there's a split happening. Okay. And Hendrickson has already made it clear he's not coming back. And the thing is, because they're investing all their money into their offense, you have to, they don't really have much pull in this, because ultimately if they don't trade him, then it's just not going to work out for Hendrickson, and it's not going to work out for the Bengals either, because if Hendrickson doesn't play, it is what it is. And I mean, they're only going to have to pay $16 million. So it's not going to cost anything for the Indianapolis Colts to get him this year. But the other reason why it's going to take less draft compensation or just trade compensation for him is because he's looking for a new contract. Remember, he wants an extension. That's the main reason why he's not why he's requesting a trade right now, because the Bengals have already made it clear their number is not close to what he wants, because they're trying to pay their three-headed monster on the offense. They can't afford to have 4 max contract guys on the team, and Trey Hendrickson is the one odd guy out. So that's just ends up where if we have to pay for a new contract for him, then that means that there's going to be less draft comp or trade compensation that we're going to give up, because why would we give up all this trade compensation and still have to pay a new contract, right? So it's going to be less. This isn't a guy that's in the middle of a 4-year contract and, he's got a huge contract and he just wanted out, and, we're just trading for compensation here. This is something completely different.
Well, and also, Derek, he's older. He's old, not old, but he's older.
Yeah, he's 30 right now.
So that also is a factor, like it or not. So, yeah, I would say for him, I mean, I think a lot of people are throwing around like that 3rd round pick. That's what I've been hearing from people. But again, like Ian Rappaport said, every team should probably be interested in Trey Hendrickson in some form or fashion. But yeah, and I kind of look at this and I say, if you're going to extend guys who produce, extend guys who have that proven track record. Like if you're going to trade and extend for guys, go get those type of guys, right? Because reality is, Derek, you have a window here of where you need to figure out, like you got to figure it out. If you're Chris Ballard and Shane Steichen and all these guys, like you got to figure it out this year. You have to. This is a very important season for all of them to prove whether or not they belong in Indianapolis long term, right? And so I think that, you got to do what it takes, while obviously not screwing over the franchise for the next number of years. You still need to take some swings. And I think this would be a swing that would make some sense. I think you'd have some inside leverage just because of Lou Anarumo and him and Trey Hendrickson's relationship. I mean, Derek, you've heard what Trey Hendrickson has said about Lou Anarumo. He respects the heck out of that guy, and he really appreciates him. And frankly, Derek, I know some people point to like Dennis Allen, because obviously the time with the Saints, but he's had his best seasons under Lou Anarumo the last couple of years. Even though Dennis Allen still, I think that's an option, I kind of view it as like, look, he knows Lou. Like he literally was with him like a couple months ago. So he knows his system inside and out even more. So that's kind of what my argument would be right now when it comes to that in favor of the Indianapolis Colts. But of course, Chris Ballard's got to go pony up and do it, Derek. That's the big thing.
That guy, that number is incorrect. The Indianapolis Colts now have over $41 million in cap because of releasing Raekwon Davis. So that's not $35 million, it's $41 million. Okay. And even if you're going to give 55% or 60% at most to a new player, that contract, okay, I have to repeat this because, again, some people didn't quite hear me apparently. Whatever contract you give him next time does not impact this year's cap space. Right. He is only paid $16 million this year. 16. Okay. So as it currently sits, Cody, if you're sitting there at $41 million and you give up 16, that's only about 40% of our cap. So that is actually not bad. Again, if you give him a 2-year extension, then you're starting to talk like you might have to pay the dude like 20-some million dollars in those 2 years. That's fine. Because again, you're playing with house money because you don't have a quarterback that's under a big contract right now. That's fine. And again, this year, only 16 million. It's not actually that bad.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to respond real quick. Somebody was asking about Samson Ebukam. And Derek, I want to preface it by saying this. Nobody was a bigger fan of Samson Ebukam's 2023 season than I was. I mean, you don't have to go back very far to see how high I was on Samson Ebukam. But here's the reality, guys. Samson Ebukam, he's coming off a very serious injury, an Achilles injury. Yep. And, like with any player, like it takes time to recover from that. It's not just I got injured and, I'm going to be fully 100% back in a year's time. Sometimes it takes these guys multiple years to round back into form, right? And he's only on a 1-year contract still with the Indianapolis Colts. So I think that's some of the thinking, and it would save you what? I don't even know how much it would save you at this point, 8 to 10 million, something like that. If you did release him, as good of a player as he was in 2023, I think there's valid concern that he may never get back to that form again. That's kind of the argument.
Like he's 32.
He's not that old, is he?
No, I'm sorry. He's 30 as well. That's my bad.
I was like,
30,
what?
He's 30 as well. It would be a $10.5 million cap hit. But it would help. Again, if the Colts made the move first of all, not cutting Samson makes no sense to me, especially if you wanted to get Hendrickson. Right, Cody? Even if you didn't cut Braden Smith, if you cut Ebukam and you cut Tyquan Lewis, or even if you didn't want to cut Tyquan Lewis, you're still saving about $8 to $9 million cutting Ebukam. So if you can get another $9 to $10 million from that, so then you're sitting at $51 million in cap space now. You have all the room in the world to make Trey Hendrickson an Indianapolis Colt. You have all the room in the world. And then you still have room to make a couple free agent moves also to improve your team. And then you still would have plenty of space for when your draft picks come in. There is a lot of different ways that the Indianapolis Colts can construe this, guys. They just need to actually do it. There's plenty of ways to fix this and get one or two big names, especially on the defense, to try to improve this team.
Yeah, that would be the biggest thing again. Yeah, when it comes to that. So if he can be fully back 100%, you keep him. But I think that's kind of the concern there, especially with trying to figure out the cap. So so Derek, one other thing of note that we haven't even mentioned.
Hold on. I got it. But keep that thought in mind. Cutting our sack leader from just a season ago while paying him $8 million a year is wild. First of all, our sack leader had 9.5 sacks, dude. Like, you act like as if 9.5 sacks was game changing. It wasn't. Samson Ebukam is not at the level of a Trey Hendrickson. He's not. He's just not. So trying to insinuate that we would be at a major disadvantage by cutting Ebukam when his career high was 9.5 sacks, coming off a major injury, is past 30 years old, when you have a young second-year player, Laiatu Latu, who had half those sacks from the year prior when only playing 50% of the snaps, and the possibility of getting an elite defensive end, there's no discussion there. There is no discussion there. That cuts it out. You make that move 100 times out of 100. That's how confident you should be in that. Because again, I like Ebukam and I love what he provides, but he's not going to be a game changer. He's just not.
And maybe there's a way to rework that contract a little bit. I'm not entirely sure, but I think
I don't even mind the number. I don't even mind the number. I just hate the fact that we think that just because 9.5 sacks on a record-breaking season with the entire group, it's okay. So yeah, that year when the Indianapolis Colts had 51 sacks and were like 5th in the league in pass rush. Hey, yeah, you also remember that year we were like 17th in pressure rating too? We got sacks, but it didn't matter. We didn't do anything with those sacks. It was a trash season. Our defense was barely hanging above water, even with that.
Well, anyway, let's keep going here. And I want to kind of talk about one thing we didn't even think about, Derek, that we haven't even talked about. And I just kind of found this out because somebody, I forget who it was, mentioned it in the comments. But Derek, did you know that Charlie Partridge was on the defensive staff? I think he was actually the defensive coordinator. I'm sorry, he was the head coach at Florida Atlantic when Trey Hendrickson was there.
That's hilarious.
For all the seasons, he was there.
So Hendrickson would not only have Lou Anarumo that he would have familiarity with, he would also have familiarity with the defensive lines coach.
Yeah.
I mean, Cody, come on. This is just it's a match made in heaven, dude.
You would think, right?
It's a match made in heaven. Hold on. Is this Seth?
Yeah, man. He was in here earlier.
Looks like the flow with Seth Erskines and friends. It must be Seth's account.
Yeah.
That's dope. If this is Seth, what's up, dude?
Welcome.
Glad to see you.
I don't know. Derek, I'm kind of like, I would be all right if you kept Ebukam. I really would be okay because you take the risk of like, hey, he may not be the same, but he might be, if he can be that number 2 guy potentially, or even number 3, situational guy, like you're going to take that, right? Can you imagine? Just dream with me for a minute, Derek. I'm not saying this is going to be reality, but can you imagine that like on your third down pass rush package there? Like if you had Trey Hendrickson in there and then you also bring in Samson Ebukam off the edge, you slide Trey Hendrickson inside. I mean, my gosh, dude, it would be insane.
Hendrickson and Latu would be phenomenal, dude.
And talk about just Latu, like how helpful will that be to have literally the NFL sack leader there to help mentor him?
Yeah.
That would be amazing. I mean, it's just
well-known Deb, $2 super chat. Thank you, sir.
I mean, Derek, like Latu, obviously a lot of people think Latu can turn into something really, really special. But what better mentor than a guy that's literally led the league in sacks the last couple of years? Like, that's a perfect scenario there.
Absolutely. So. And especially because Trey Hendrickson's never been the most athletic guy. He's never been the most athletic. He's never been the most technically sound.
You talk about a tone setter, man. That's what you've lacked. I mean, Chris Ballard has been on record saying we need more like dudes in that locker room. We have
not had a guy that can get to the quarterback off the edge in 10 years. No. It's been that long, guys. And it's about time that Ballard took a shot at one.
Man.
Let's take a shot at it. So what if it doesn't work? Like everyone else will try.
At least you've done everything you can to spend all your resources to try to fix it. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I don't care if he falls flat on his face, but like I want him to fall on his face trying
and giving Lou the best chance as well. You know what I mean? Like giving Lou the best chance he possibly can to succeed. That's what you want to do, right? You don't want to have another Gus Bradley situation where you literally give him no proven guys out there and basically just kind of screw him over. As much as I think Gus Bradley deserved to be fired, Derek, let's be honest, you didn't give him enough when it came to proven talent out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think if you say it was a Gus Bradley problem, I don't fully, I agree a lot, but I also think there's some Ballard blame 100% too.
Yeah.
So you got to give Lou his guys. Whoever he says go get. Like, you got to trust that he knows what he's doing.
You have not given, you're right, you have not given your defensive coaches in recent memory the benefit of the doubt. You haven't. And you're right. Again, Gus Bradley certainly wasn't a great, the scheme that he ran was not to the strength of our players. You're not wrong there. And that is why I hate it when you have DCs that know how to do it only a specific way. They don't know how to adapt. And Gus Bradley did not adapt ever. And it really hurt you. But the problem is also, you're right, is the GM's job is also to get the players that, you know, have been there and know what to do with that scheme, right? And I mean, we're willing to give Bradley the benefit of the doubt after 2023 because of the fact that in 2022, that defense was like 11th or 12th best in the league because you got you got secondary guys in there that could be put on an island and were able to do whatever they had to do. And then the pass rush got in there every once in a while. Yeah. And it affected the game.
Here's one thing I want to mention. And this is a question that I had, Derek. I'd love to hear your opinion on this. This one where is it? Dang it. Where did it go? Oh, here we go. From Jonathan. He talking about the obviously the Danielle Hunter stuff last year that happened where the Colts apparently offered more money. And obviously Danielle Hunter went to Houston because that's kind of his hometown and whatnot. But I just kind of wondered, even though that the Indianapolis Colts, despite having Samson Ebukam and paying him what they were paying him, they still really thought that pass rush was a major need. And that was with like Dayo Adangbo still on the roster. Cody, so my question is, are they done? I don't think they are. I don't think they're content with the current group they have. Because I think you have Latu, who could be a good player. But Derek, if he's kind of your one right now, I mean, I don't know. That's a lot of pressure for him. You know, like I'd love to have a mentor or a partner for the next couple of years for him that you can feel really good about. Because there's a lot of question marks at that position, a ton of them. You don't know. Kwity Paye, we kind of know what he is. You know, he's a solid player, really good run defender, but definitely lacks some to be desired when it comes to consistent pass rush. Dio's probably, I mean, from what we've heard, he's going to demand a lot of money. I don't want to pay that amount for Dio. So who does that leave you with on your roster realistically? 30-year-old Samson Ebukam coming off an Achilles injury. We don't know what's going to happen there. So it just makes sense to me that would be kind of a thing. Like they were that close to getting Danielle Hunter a year ago. Could this be the time where Ballard says, I'm going to finish it this year?
And you're right. And it's kind of one of those things where Danielle Hunter, I mean, again, that is the business of the NFL. You can offer guys more money. A lot of times it's just ultimately there are factors to this that, you know, just we can't account for. And Danielle Hunter thought being with a more pro-ready, more playoff-ready team with a better defensive mind, I'm sure that had also had something to do with it. Cody, I hate the argument for defensive players that they're like, they care about who the quarterback is. They care about this and this and this. Like, no, defensive players care about who's on the defense with them, who's the defensive coach that's coaching me, how much am I getting paid, where's the place. That's what the majority of those things come down to. And Danielle Hunter said, I like I like the coach that the Texans have more than the Colts. I like the defense that's there more than the Colts. And I'm willing to be closer to where I used to be at for a few million less when I'm already getting paid, right? So that's just unfortunately what it is. And if Ballard would have forked up even more, he would have had to like buy him out just to be able to get him to do that. But you're right. Like it sometimes doesn't go the way you want to. And you're right. This could be a situation where it's like, hey, you know, time to right the miss that happened, right? But I mean, going back to your thing there, Cody, I saw a comment. Somebody said, I can't remember. It might have been Super Pony. I can't remember, but somebody said we tied for the most sacks in franchise history that year, and we still drafted Latu first round. Like it showed it, the numbers didn't matter because the numbers lie. They know that 51 sacks really didn't mean that much in the grand scheme of things, that they needed a guy off the edge that was going to establish a presence. And they still went with the Latu at 15 when they had a million other directions they could have gone to, but they went with it anyway. So yeah, no, they will never be done. And you can never be done when you're trying to get elite defensive players. That's what Trey Hendrickson is right now. Will he be that for the long term? No. But in the next 2 to 3 years, while he's still good and healthy and playing at the level that he is, get him while you can.
Yep. Absolutely.
Did we discuss Christian Kirk? Yeah, dude. You saw Christian Kirk went to the Texans, right?
For literally nothing. What's with all these interdivision trades that are happening, man?
The Jags are getting rid of everyone, dude.
Yeah,
they're getting rid of everyone.
Evan Ingram as well.
Yeah, here, let me look it up. Hold on.
Yeah, they're cutting everybody.
They got rid of a bunch of them. Hold on. Because they've gotten rid of like 5 people today. I gotta find it.
I'm going to show you a picture and going back to the Charlie Partridge thing, okay?
Okay.
I'll show you a picture if I can do this. Let's see. Maybe I can do this. I don't know if it'll let me.
Who would be y'all's dream free agent? Either Ward or Javon Holland.
I said, yeah, those would be 2 good ones. I threw out a different one, Paulson Adebo.
Oh, or Cameron Bynum or Byron Murphy.
They're good ones too.
Yeah. There's a bunch of them, man. Just go get them, please.
All right. I'll just somehow figure out how to do this because it's not letting me upload the actual picture. So I'll just share my screen here.
Decent players willing to go to the Texans for pocket change. Well, I mean, there's a couple different reasons for that. 1, Texas, it's always warm. 2, there's no state tax there. And 3rd, you're playing for a decent team.
Okay. There you go, Derek.
Oh, geez.
There you go. Trey Hendrickson and Charlie Partridge. There's another connection.
It just makes all the sense in the world, dude. Like and you can't tell me that not being able to have a connection with the guys that are going to be coaching you is a big deal. Like it has to be a big deal to Trey Hendrickson. It has to be.
Yeah. Yeah, the connections
Mark
are there.
Andrews
no doubt.
is a free agent? No way. He
Who?
is? Mark Andrews?
What? Since when?
Since when? Is he? Are they cutting him? Where are y'all seeing that?
All right, I'm gonna search his name to see if I see anything.
Yeah, I'm gonna look that up too. Because I know he's on the last year of his contract.
I say I didn't. The Bleacher Report suggests the Ravens could trade him to the Chargers. That's the only thing I see.
Andrews was released after the Super Bowl. When? I didn't hear that.
Nah, I don't know what you're talking about. He's not. He's still on the roster.
Do you think some people will be hesitant to come to Indy? Yeah, 100%. 100%. Because you still have to figure out your quarterback situation.
Oh, yeah.
No doubt. But it's less stingy on the defensive side of things because the defensive side does not care who the quarterback is of the team. They only care about how am I getting paid, who's coaching me, who's on that side. That's more of an offensive thing.
Lou's pretty respected around the league, Derek.
Yes, he is. He's very well respected. And again, if you steal anybody from the defensive team for Cincinnati,
Yeah.
Trey Hendrickson is the one to do it.
All right, Derek, run me through some players you want to see the Colts acquire. We already know Trey Hendrickson is one. Okay, we'll take him out of this. Talk to me about a few other guys you want to see the Colts go after.
Javon Holland, Travarius Ward, Dre Greenlaw, Cameron Bynum, Byron Murphy.
Yep.
How
about any tight end?
Paulson Adebo, I like that one as well.
Okay.
It's funny because Jawan Johnson, the tight end from the Saints, it's probably about it.
Any trades like Michael Mayer maybe for a late round pick?
I'd be down for that. Yeah, a late round pick would be good for that.
I'd be all right with that. I mean, just completely redo your tight end room at this point, and he's not going to cost a lot. He's still in his rookie deal for the next 2 years. I'm good with that, Yeah. But there are a ton of DBs. I mean, we looked at the corners, Derek, and there's still more that we didn't even talk about that could be released. So it's crazy to me. Crazy. Justin Reed would be another one, Derek. Thank you, Leo. That's a real good one I would like. He's only 28. He's really good player. I would like Justin Reed a lot. And he would be, I think he'd fill that role that Lou's looking for really, really well. Now, here's a question I'll have, Derek, for you as well. Say you could pick one position between corner and safety that you're addressing in free agency that you're saying is your big splash move in the secondary. Which position do you want the Colts to go make a splash move in more, corner or safety?
That's rough.
Because, I mean,
you said splash move?
Yeah, if you could just choose one of those two. I mean, Derek, there's a reality where, there's a corner or two available or some safety.
I think it's corner for me.
Okay.
Because I think that the problem we have with our secondary is you got these young players that are trying to figure it out. And I think at cornerback right now, it's more important than ever to get a established veteran in the room outside of a Kenny Moore.
Mm-hmm. I would agree.
And, I feel like at the top end of the draft, there's more safeties in this draft that I could put in that ring than corners, even though and Cody D, they're neck and neck.
Johnson,
there's cornerbacks and safeties both in free agency and in the draft that are really good. It's really deep. We can do a lot with these groups. I just we need Ballard to actually do something with it.
Well, it's hard for me to see a scenario, Derek, based off of the move they've made where they don't at least have one big splash signing of some sort, or at least some guy that's a quality level starter, right? You would think, right, because of what they've done and what he said about, truly making a difference in that room and having some work to do. Again, Ballard's word, I understand a lot of people don't trust it. I totally get that. But Derek, I think we definitely had heard him kind of sing a little bit different tune than we've heard in the past. We didn't hear the "we like our guys" thing that we've been so accustomed to for years. Now, again, actions are going to speak a lot louder than words, Derek. But I heard a little bit different tune from Ballard this year. And again, think what you want. Again, I'm still on the wait and see. I'm not going to trust that he's actually going to do anything till he actually does it. And the guys in the building, that's just me. But the wording's definitely different. You can't deny that.
Yeah, definitely, dude.
So, but going back to that thing, Derek, about the edge position, Ian Rappaport saying that's a need for the team. So that kind of gives you an insight into where the Colts mindset might be a little bit, Derek. And I personally think it should be, to be honest with you. But of course, you have so many other holes in your defense. It's like it gets pushed down a lot, Corner and safety, I think, are a lot more important right now just because you don't have a lot of guys in there that are quality guys. Like, you have some solid guys in your defensive line, but you don't have that true game changer at this current point in time on your roster, right? So that's kind of where I'm like, every part of this defense in some way could use an impact signing or an impact player. I mean, honestly.
Cody, I literally just had like a deja vu moment. I don't know if that's exactly what I'm having right now.
Okay.
But I think back to this time last year, and Cody, I mean, we were salivating over the idea of one of those safeties or one of those corners
I know.
joining this team. And what were we left with? Nothing. And I'm like, please, for the love of all things, listen, I'm just going to say this, guys. I'm going to say it right now. And some of y'all may leave the stream because of it. Some of y'all might trash me on Twitter for saying it. I don't care. If Ballard does nothing again, and I mean nothing, this podcast will turn into a hashtag Fire Ballard podcast.
Even more than Ben?
Every single video will start with Fire Ballard. There's going to be a promo. It's going to be Jason's podcast from way back in the day, how they used to do that, where the audios always play at the beginning.
Yeah.
And it will be that every single video, every single one. I will personally organize the eventual firing of Chris Ballard in one way, shape, or form.
It caused such an outrage that
I'm going to be so outraged, dude.
Derek, I mean, if that happens, we've had people say, you guys are so negative all the time, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you haven't seen nothing yet.
Yeah, because like, what is there possibly to be happy about?
I used to be an optimist, dang it.
I get it. I get it that, like, you know, you could try not to be negative in certain areas, but like, but you and I are just fans, bro. We're not reporters. We're not analysts. We're fans of this team first and foremost.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, we just want this team to be relevant. And if our GM is making it to where we're not relevant, then I'm not going to sugarcoat it anymore. I'm just going to be pissed off.
I understand that. I agree with you. Yeah. I mean, we'd be going on year 10 at that point, Derek. That's insanity. That's insanity. Yeah. I can't. But I mean, Josh, I want to believe that, man. I want to believe that Ballard knows. I want to believe that he actually does something with that. I do think that the pressure is definitely there. Like, I think his seat is very hot at this point. I mean, he should have been fired after 2022, frankly.
Remember, I don't know who it was, which local reporter said it, but they said they got numerous people that, because, you know, when people go to the combine, they know a few of the Colts local reporters because a bunch of people are close. And they were saying, like, I got numerous people that were explaining to me, like, not only were they surprised that, you know, Ballard was back, but like, they're surprised that he was even able to last this long. Like, people kept saying after the 2022 debacle, how is he still around? You know,
honestly,
like,
Derek, even after 2021,
people went up to them and were like, nah, man, like, why is Ballard still the GM?
Well, even after the collapse in 2021, a lot of people were like, fire them all, dude. They all suck. Like, we were to that point. 2022 obviously was like the culmination.
And again, that's why, Cody, that's why I've been so, like, against this whole QB competition thing that the Colts said they have wanting to go on, because again, you were brought back and you were given another chance, and your chance was putting your faith into a project quarterback in Anthony Richardson. And so now you're potentially going to ruin that chance of redemption by potentially letting someone else take Anthony Richardson's job, which is hilarious to me. And again, Cody, they were the 4th overall pick, dude. you could have traded to the number 1 for Chicago Bears, bro. You could have. If you gave up enough, you could have. The Panthers traded up from 8 to 1. Like, you could have easily found a way to do that and then had your pick of the litter for whatever quarterback you wanted and needed. You could have gotten CJ Stroud at that number 1 overall pick if you'd have just thrown your cards on the table. But he didn't.
Derek, as much as I despise Ryan Grigson for all that he did, the one thing I will say I've come to appreciate is he actually tried a little bit. Like, he tried to make this team better. He was god awful at it.
Wise in how he spent his money. But
he was terrible at it. But he at least tried. I think I'd rather a guy swing for the fences and not work out than just don't do anything. You know what I mean? Like, that's where it is for me. And that's what is so infuriating, because you see all these teams make a concerted effort to get better, Derek. You see this all the time. And honestly, I heard this the other day, and I agree with this. You think about some of what other teams have done to build around their young quarterbacks. Like, look at what Houston did with CJ Stroud. Look at what Washington has done with Jaden Daniels. Heck, look what Chicago's doing with Caleb Williams. The Colts have done nothing that resembles that.
Yeah, at least
it's sad.
I mean, I'm not even, and you know what's crazy is that we have decent weapons on the wideouts. Like, that's not a problem for me. The tight end position, that's one thing. And the offensive line is good, but you're right. Like, for Jaden Daniels basically made that team. But you're right. Like what the Texans did with CJ Stroud, sure, their offensive line has not really been great. They've been dealing with a lot of injuries too, though. But they went and got a running back for him and Joe Mixon, and it was a huge blessing. Yeah. They drafted
Stephon Diggs.
They drafted Tank Dell. They kept Nico Collins around. They went out and got Stephon Diggs. And now you're losing Diggs. And I don't know if you saw, Cody, but reportedly Tank Dell is going to miss next season too.
Yeah.
He's having
that. They're trying, dude. Surgery. I can give them credit. They're doing their best to build around him.
They're willing to spend their money.
Yeah. They're willing to do whatever it takes to try to help and build around this young quarterback while you have him cheap. And I think that's what you need to do. And I just don't feel like the Colts have done that nearly enough, to be honest with you. And it's unfortunate. Now, again, Anthony Richardson has not been good, but I just wish the Colts would have done more early on to build around him.
Yep. I don't know, man. I just want one good thing in my life. I just want a Trey Hendrickson trade and then a big free agent signing. I need that.
We need something, don't we?
I need something, dude.
We need something for last offseason. It was that bad, man. It was really that bad. Yep.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, not a whole lot more there to talk about. I mean, I think that's pretty much everything at this point.
Pretty much. Getting close to ending this stream because I gotta go to work in the morning.
Oh, yay. Fun.
The big splash move is going to be Sam Darnold. Bro, no, it is not.
Please don't manifest.
That would never, that makes absolutely no sense.
That would be terrible. Imagine spending all our money on him.
That would just be ridiculous. Because then it wouldn't be competition. It would just be him getting the job.
Right. Yep. Well, cool, man. This was fun. I don't even know how many subscribers we gained. I honestly didn't even look at that.
I'm going to take a look real quick.
Let me find it.
Got a couple. 3 more. So we're 23 left.
23 away. If you guys haven't already, hit subscribe. Help us out. We'd appreciate that. We're getting there. We've been stuck on this number for like a long time, it feels like.
I know. It feels like we have. It feels like we've been stuck at 19-9 for like forever, guys.
No, it's like we got there pretty quickly and then boom, just kind of got stuck here.
Serious question. Do you guys think Ballard spent every draft up to 23 trying to prove he can build a winner without a star QB out of spite? I don't think so. I think he just refused to get his quarterback in a draft until 2023, and he just happened to pick the one that needed the most work.
Yep.
Like, that would be dream. Imagine this offseason, trade for Hendrickson, draft Tyler Warren, and sign one big-name corner.
Man, that'd be nice. All right. I'm going to do the Ballard voice here. I mean, look, to win in this league, you got to have good QB play. I mean, we see it all over.
Got to get like Southern with it a little bit more, you know? It's like the
y'all know me.
Is good. He's just going to get more Southern.
Y'all know me. We like our guys.
Y'all know me.
Y'all know me. I don't even know. There's so many Ballardisms around that you could just go forever on those.
We like our guys. You know, we like our guys.
Yep. We got work to do. We got work to do.
All right. I think
y'all know my philosophy
for the night.
Oh, man. I can't do it as good as some other people, but like Joey Molinaro's got it on. He's got it down, man.
Yeah, but he's also got his job is to do improv.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah, I ain't going to try to do that.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for this one, guys. Again, thank you to everybody that was tuning in tonight. You guys made it a great show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will, again, continue to keep you updated on the latest news, rumors, trades, free agency, Colts news, etc. And guys, just one more weekend away, and then free agency is here. So close enough. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And as always, guys, go Colts.